Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing well today, staying sober, or trying to. I just want to thank everybody out there who's watching the videos, giving me positive feedback. I really appreciate you. I do these videos because I'm just trying to get the message out there about sobriety, how alcohol and substances can actually affect people. For like myself, like I said, I've been saying through the videos, it killed me 3.5 years ago, and my higher power gave me a second opportunity to give back in any way I possibly can. So I really appreciate all the feedback I've been getting. I'm not trying to make money at this. I don't care. If you want to check out my YouTube videos, it's Alfred Sona, the addiction recovery specialist, if that's something you like to do and keep informed. But I don't care if you subscribe or not. I'm not looking to monetize from this. So with that said, I talked to somebody today that I really appreciated the feedback, and I wanted to talk about lapses, relapses, and slips. So the differences between the three of them. When you're going through sobriety, we get overwhelmed. We come up with our triggers. We might just feel like we have that urge or that craving, and we go act on it. My thing with slips is you have direct slips and you have indirect slips. An indirect slip could be something where you're at a party, you ask them to get you a Coke, but they know you pretty well, or used to anyway, and they get you and they bring you a rum and Coke and you have a sip of it, and then you realize what happened, and you put the drink down and say that was not good. That's called an indirect slip. A direct slip is obviously something where you go pick up a beer or something like that, a shot or something like that, and it's something that you do it and then you realize, what the heck are you doing? And then you stop. The last time I drank, that's exactly what happened. I thought I'd be smarter than what I was. I went and got a couple of beers, I drank them, and then 3 days later I ended up in the hospital again, going into AFib, and that's when I met my higher power. So that was the last time I ever drank, and that was almost 3 years ago. The thing is when you have a slip, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to feel guilty, go beat yourself up over it, or fall back into the patterns. You can pick yourself up the next day and carry on. That's what most people will do if you go through a slip. A lapse, on the other hand, is something where you have a plan and you've done it through years. My lapses always happened in Vegas. So Vegas for me was, I get together with all of my friends, we go out to Vegas for a week, we'd party it up like you could never believe, and then we would come back and go about our daily business and go back to work and not have to worry about it. That's called a lapse. It's something you do when you're on vacation, something like that. That's not bad either, but remember, we're trying to stay sober. So when you get to that point where you have an issue and you got to stop drinking, and you say, I don't drink anymore, we don't do that anymore. I've been to Vegas a few times this year, and it hasn't even occurred to me to drink. It's something I put out of my life. Remember, I took drinking out of my life and put working out back in. So it's never occurred to me. The triggers were there, but it never caused any urges or cravings. I just don't drink. Now, relapse is when we get back into the full-blown routine that we used to have. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So alcohol does not define who we are. Substances don't define who we are. It's not our character. It's something we have issues with. Like I said in previous videos, if they actually took and said that alcohol or substances define who you are, geez, half the country would actually be well, actually probably half the world would be considering alcoholics or meth users or substance abuse users just based out of college. I mean, we used to do a lot of weird things in college, right? But we kind of grew up and moved on from that. So lapses, slips, relapses, address what you're going through. If you have to cope and you go get a shot and you do it, make sure that you're aware of it, you adapt and overcome from it, and you don't let it become a lapse or a relapse. That's what we're trying to work on here. My ultimate goal is to keep everybody sober, and you get to that point where any of those things, substances, alcohol, they don't become part of your life. Your routine becomes something else, and we just avoid the negative things throughout it. It doesn't define who you are. I never say I'm an alcoholic. The reason I don't say that is because I'm not. I had a drinking problem and I fixed it. My dad, on the other hand, he was an alcoholic. He could never get past the substance itself. He literally had to drink from the time he got up until the time he went to bed, until the time he died. So he died early. Love the man. And went through a few rehabs, and I wish I was here with him to actually kind of pass this thing along on these tools for him. But I wish he was here because I love the man. Unfortunately, he's not with us today, and he died because of alcoholism. He just never got it. For me, I never made a character trait. So going forward, if you find yourself where you slip, you have a beer, it's not the end of the world. Pick yourself up the next day, check what you were doing. If you have a lapse, that's a little bit different because that goes right into where it could become an issue. It might be a relapse when you get back from your vacations and stuff. But hey, the best vacations I've had so far are the ones where I wasn't drinking. I actually got to go enjoy anything. I wasn't stuck in a hotel room for half a day feeling sick and puking in a toilet all day. I actually got to go and enjoy things like zip lining, wave running and stuff like that. So think about those things, and your vacations and all that kind of stuff will be 100 times better, I promise you. Vegas, I've been there 1,000 times. The last few times I went, I was sober, and I finally got to see Vegas for the first time. And it was wonderful. I love y'all. Stay calm, be sober.